Hey everybody, welcome back to Live with LAYNE. This afternoon I have my very good friend joining me from Boston, Massachusetts, Rich DiMare. How are you, Rich?
I'm doing good. I'm in the woods.
You're in the woods. It looks like it.
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's great to see you. It's been so long.
It really has. It's so nice to see you too. And generally I'm home during this time. We're back in Boston during this time, but because of quarantine, I've delayed my trip. But I think in the next couple weeks or so, I may be making an appearance.
That'd be great. Maybe we'll be out of lockdown, which everything's starting to slowly come back around here, but it's been a tough couple months, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And cheers to you, Rich, and seeing your lovely face in the woods out there.
Well, how's everything going in California? I mean, I think California and Massachusetts are somewhat similar in the way that they've been kind of locked down, right?
Well, I know that Massachusetts definitely locked down a lot later than California did, which I was very surprised about. You know, I was talking to people back east and I was like, I don't know, we've been in quarantine for 2 weeks and people were like, oh, the bars are still open. Or, you know, maybe Massachusetts was closed, but New Hampshire and Maine weren't. There are no borders or fences between Massachusetts and, you know, Rhode Island to New York. And I was just like, we're all in this together, right? This is a collective grade. Everybody needs to do their part.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like, it's the first month and a half were the toughest, I think, just because you almost are in denial about it, and like everything is changing rapidly. Like what your day to day was is no longer that. Like it's not even close, and you got to get used to it. Luckily, I just bought a house, so I had a lot of housework to do. So I was doing that, and then, you know, I think like two or 3 weeks ago, I started to actually get back out, and this is where the Come to My Window tour has kicked off, and while we're talking today.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of the situation that I'm in as well, as an event producer and coordinator and everything else. That all of a sudden one day it just stopped. There's no income, there's no events, there's no shows, there's nothing planned. Everything that was planned is canceled.
Right, until next year. Like I had 3 well, they're not cancellations, they're like postponed. So like they postponed it to 2021. So it's like, you know, the whole year you got to come up with something different. You got there's gonna be something to do. It's just, what is that thing? And I think everybody, every artist, every party planner has to kind of figure out, how are we celebrating now? And it seems like it's going to be those small gatherings, you know, and easing our way out of it. But I do think that there is a large part of this country that wants to party. Like they just want to get out and party. Like they want to be like, okay. And I'm seeing it on the tour. So when I'm going and singing to, you know, 10 people in a driveway, they're like, thank you so much, because like it gets them out of this like mentality of being locked down, and like they kind of forget for a little bit that that's what's going on. So it's a little bit of escapism.
Well, we're talking about this for people who don't know what Rich is doing. He started well, I guess you can tell them how this started, but let me show the video real quick so people can have an understanding of what we're talking about and what the Come to My Window tour is. And it could be your window, your lawn, your driveway, a brownstone, a garage. It seems like it's really opening up. But okay, so let's show this for a few minutes, or for at least a minute or so.
Yeah,
kind of an idea.
Forevermore, you are all I worship, all I long for, and I adore. In other words, please be true.
Was that planned?
In other words,
I don't even know how that.
I love you.
I have no clue.
Here we go.
We were locked in. He was so happy too.
Wow!
You gotta be kidding me. How'd that go?
That
did it work all right?
Yes, it worked perfect.
Little latency on my end. Yeah.
There's some latency, yes, but you look great. You sound great. So we have Dan Sky tuning in. Dan says,
"Oh,
yeah, hello,
Dan Sky,
worlds. Good to see you both. Rich, love what you're doing, man. Lainey, great show as always. And I absolutely want to have Dan on as well. Kid is killing it with his karaoke. He's getting like thousands and thousands and thousands of viewers on his karaoke, and he sounds so good.
Yeah, he's solid. He's just so good. I love listening to him. He had this really cool thing on the North Shore he was doing for a while where he'd get a ton of people that would come out, and it's just like, we missed that. We really missed that. So, I'm hoping to see him perform live soon too.
Yeah, let's plan something, Dan. I was saying that I might be home in the next couple of weeks, so maybe we do a mini. Maybe you can come to my window, both of you boys.
Yeah, so to come to my window is like, it's really from a number of different standpoints. For the people that are listening to the shows and watching the shows, it's been very I don't know, therapeutic in a way. And then for me as well, to get out and perform something that I love to do, I was going crazy because I work 4, 5, 6 nights a week doing singing or DJing or whatever, and it just all stopped. I went to Florida to do an event for the Red Sox at the end of February, and I had an event out in Indy right before everything shut down. I think it was like on the 6th or 7th. And
last event too. Yeah, the 6th or 7th.
Yeah,
like
I came back and everything had changed. And I could see it flying. I could see people at the beginning wearing a mask, and then there was more and more and more, and now it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's actually whiskey in a wine glass, right?
Jack Daniels. Well, I want to thank Jack Daniels. Yeah, they actually, I think everyone's trying to think creatively and do stuff that's different. So Mother's Day and Father's Day, they sponsored my live stream, and they helped out some of the players that work with me every single Sunday at Sinatra Sunday at Capo. So they helped out they helped out me, they helped out the players, and they're trying to get live music to people to consume, electronically. And so I love Jack Daniels for 2 reasons. One, because I like them as a partner, and 2, it's just delicious.
That was a great plug.
It's true.
Have a sponsor logo somewhere? It's not hanging on the tree behind you anywhere, is it?
No. It's just in the wine glass. I'm sure they probably wouldn't like that. Sinatra said, because I do Sinatra music, he said it was the nectar of the gods.
Jack Daniels, the nectar of the gods.
That's correct.
So how did this come to my window start? Did somebody reach out to you and say, my parents are having an anniversary, or what happened there? How did that work out?
Last year I did a 80th birthday party for a woman who lives in Boston. Her daughter had hired me, and so a year later I get a message on Instagram, and she said, hey, would you like to come back and do the Sinatra show again? My mom absolutely loved it, and she was like, you can sing in my backyard, or you can sing in the back area. It's kind of like an alleyway with like a driveway, and she'll be in the window, and you can sing to her through the window.
Make it there. I'm gonna make it sweet.
What happened there?
Another video after.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so she was like, come sing to her through the window, and there were some people that gathered around, all social distancing, like all that. And it was like a magical moment. It really was. It was actually, it was one of my favorite gigs I've ever done, because it was coming out of not gigging, not performing, not doing anything. So to have that magical moment where people could enjoy live music for the first time, it was really awesome. And so that was the first one. And then I posted a picture of that to Instagram or Facebook. And I immediately got 5 or 6 inquiries to do a few other parties. So I've done those, and now I have more coming up. And it's like the rhythm of that is I'm doing them, and then I'm posting them, and then more people want it. Birthdays, anniversaries, like it's a unique way. And the music that I do kind of lends itself to that, brings people together. It always has. It's timeless. And so it's a unique way to kind of have everybody come out of their shell, social distance, like feel it out, but at the same time, like remember what life used to be like.
Right.
Which was like a lot of fun. Like, come to think of it, like it was a lot of fun, and we can all appreciate that so much more now. It's the yin and the yang.
Yeah, exactly. As many times as I was like, it's so people-y out there. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do another event. I don't want to do any more networking. You know, I don't want to go to another bar or be amongst the people. And now I'm just like,
it's the yin and the yang.
I would just sit down to a random person next to me and, you know, start a conversation for an hour.
100%. 100%. I mean, that's what people, you know, there's times to be quiet, and there's times to chill and stay home and like watch a movie or do nothing. Like there's times to do that. But I think a lot of people, not all people, but a lot of people are social. They want to go out and about and do stuff, you know? So
I think there's a lot of people too who maybe had considered themselves antisocial, or that they didn't like going out. Now they realize that they literally can't go out other than to the grocery wearing a mask, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm not as antisocial as I thought that I was.
Yeah.
And they'll grab onto that part of their personality a little bit more, you know, moving forward, rather than just being like, no, I'm not going out. I'm like, well, remember when you couldn't go out?
Yeah. Remember when you were told to be in your room?
Remember when you were grounded?
Like you literally couldn't go out. Remember that? You're coming to the party on Friday. You know?
I'm going to show a quick clip of this is, I think, one of the first videos that I saw that I was really inspired by. So I'm going to show this, and then we can talk about it a little bit.
I'm ready. There it is.
There it is.
And gotta make a brand new start of it, right there in old New York. And if I can make it there, I'm gonna make it, sweetheart, anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York, New York.
Hey, that guy sounds as good as Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. That was beautiful. So what was that all about?
Tell me
something,
girl. That's little Lila you're gonna catch in a second.
It just was playing the next one.
All right, that's all right. So that video that you just played was from last Friday, and I actually, for my neighbors, my street's uniquely set up, and there were houses on the right side, left side, and you could see there was a green kind of pathway right down the middle of the avenue there. And so everyone was at their houses on both sides of the street. And then that green strip in the middle, there was a place for people to socially distance down the middle there. And the neighbors, this is my introduction to the neighborhood. So
okay.
I was like, hey guys, we're going to do a little something. And they absolutely loved it. It was great. It was great to bring the neighborhood together. And you saw there was a piano player there. That was Ron Poster, the organist for the Boston Bruins. He joins me, and we do a weekly show every Sunday at Capo in South Boston. And so he introduced me. We have this whole banter type of thing that we do. And so it was great for the neighborhood. And we also had a guest singer, Little Lila, who was that video that you were about to see right there. She did Valerie and Shallow and a song from La La Land. So
well, we'll show a few minutes or a few seconds of that one too, just because it's already up. And
okay, all right, sounds good.
And she's so cute. I can't believe how big she's getting. Goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Little Lila.
Little Lila.
Tell me something, girl.
Or like just fast forward to where she's at. She's like,
Are you happy in this COVID world?
On this COVID, that's cute.
Or do you need more?
Oh,
we got the sunset in the background. That's the backyard.
You're searching for.
beautiful.
I'm falling.
Come on, let me listen to this.
In all the good times, I find myself longing for a change. And in the bad times,
Are you trying to sing along?
myself.
You are.
I'm not singing. I'm not singing.
You're singing along.
I'm waiting for the superstar to take the microphone.
Yes.
Tell me something more.
Ooh.
Are you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? It are being in quarantine.
Ah.
In all the good times, I find myself longing for change.
Yeah.
And in the bad times, I fear myself. I'm off the deep end, watching that dive in. I'll never leave the ground.
Let it lie low.
Close to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow. In the shallow. In the shallow.
Oh my goodness.
She's cute. She's cute. She's really cute. She brought down the house on she brought down the house on Friday. She did that song. You know that part where it gets all crazy. She killed it. She's my little protege.
She really is. I know. I've been watching her sing with you for so many years now. Jeez.
Yeah, she's really cute. And she's she's challenging herself. She's trying to learn like a song a week, and so she's working on Malibu now, Miley Cyrus, and I wanted to get her to do some Whitney songs, and we're open to suggestions. But she's got a good voice. She's got a deeper voice for a kid in a way, you know.
She does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, you know.
Well, I think because she's like audible. She's learning from you, and you have a deeper voice when you sing. So maybe that's where she's picking it up.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, she's got a really good ear, and it's a lot of fun to kind of, especially during quarantine. You know, like it was. We did a number of those. She did. We did like duets because it was like a fun thing to kind of do, and so we did 4 or 5 seconds, which is the Kanye and Rihanna song. And that went over really good. And then we did the Shallow one, and then there was one other one that we did, probably La La Land, City of Stars or something. Yeah, City of Stars.
Hi, Holly. Holly saying, "Oh, she's so adorable. Sing it, girl." Yes, she is.
Yes, she is adorable. And if she was here, she would be trying to take the microphone and sing a song.
She's a little ham, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask questions here on this show? Live with LAYNE. I absolutely love it. You know, Heather, my girlfriend Heather mentioned to me, she goes, "LAYNE's doing this amazing thing. LAYNE is just absolutely, it just looks so fantastic. And you really have to check it out." And I saw it. I was like, oh my goodness, it does. It looks really good. And we really enjoyed the content. So it's like you're doing this stuff. You're getting a rhythm of something new, something different. And, you know, as time goes on, you kind of refine what you're doing and feeling it out. So we've been enjoying you all the way in Boston.
That's so sweet. Thank you. It's really nice to hear. And yeah, I'm getting a lot of love from my East Coast people as well. And it wasn't really something that I had planned on doing. You know, I'm really behind the scenes. I would prefer to have a podcast or something like that, but this just seemed natural because when we started the Quarantine Network, we're going into week 10 now of Quarantine Network, over 14,000 people in our group.
Yeah.
You know, started from like literally 5 people. My buddy called me and said, "I have this idea. We have all these talented people. Why don't we just, you know, see what we can do? Let's get it out there."
Yeah.
This was on like a late Friday night, calls me, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds great. He's like, yeah, between me and you and the other people that we have, it's like, we can probably put this together. And I was like, well, what is it? Live programming from 6 a.m. till 11 p.m., at least Monday through Friday to start, and again, Friday. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like in a couple weeks, like, what do you think? And he's like Monday. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, and like, what about Saturday morning? And I was like, did I just like, And the next 48 hours were just like straight up contacting everybody that we knew. And, and it was a new thing. People didn't really understand what it was. So people were just kind of jumping on board and doing whatever they could, from reading children's stories to singing and baking and cooking. I mean, whatever it is, how-to videos.
Right.
It's just a montage of everything. We have people from all over the world now that are part of our networks. It's crazy.
I prefer not knowing what I'm watching. I kind of want to be surprised. I don't want to be told what's going on, so I don't care. Like, I'm along for the ride. If I'm interested, I'll watch it. If not, I'm on to the next thing. That's everything. It's so quick. Bye. Like, hey, I was just watching like a guy falling off a skateboard into a thing, and now I'm watching how to make a hamburger on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's our culture, right? We just need to get on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. We get bored so fast.
Right. And so, when I'm doing these, come to my window shows, I'm hoping to get a couple of little moments, little things that I can post for later. So I'll record the whole thing, see what comes out of it, and you get these little snippets usually out of them.
Right.
And, I got an awful lot of time on my hands, and I don't like doing work at home. I don't like doing yard work.
You're not a physical labor guy.
I don't like painting. I don't like any of that stuff. So if I can do things that aren't that and things that I like to do, I'm probably in better shape.
And the expectation is that you have to do those things because you're doing nothing else. You're like, well, actually, I have this other thing that I have to be doing right now, and I'm going to go sing in somebody's front yard. You're like, I have things to do.
Yeah, I think all around the Come to My Window tour, and as it's growing, I'm interested to see where it will take me, because like you never know. Like there's bad things that happen in life, and it's how you take those moments, how you take those bad things, and kind of like massage them into good things. Like, you have to understand that this is bad and this isn't good. And like, you have to kind of be like, you have to work through it. And out through that can come something. If you have your head on your shoulders and you kind of like, all right, like just process it, figure it out, get into a rhythm, and stuff will come out of it. I think that this tour, just from the response that I'm getting from people, has a chance to go to New York, has a chance to go to Florida, has a chance to go to California. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the reaction I'm getting from people, and the reaction I'm getting from the Facebook or the Instagram community. And it's like, there is something here. So, it's not what my normal day-to-day has been for the last 15 years.
Forever.
Or yeah. Really, I mean, like there was always, there was ups and downs in the economy, but this is totally different. This is almost like the economy that you knew in the events and live music industry is changed dramatically, and there's no guarantee it's ever going back to that.
Right.
Whether that's valid or not, but right now that's the situation.
Right.
With that, I'm going to have a little sip.
Cheers.
I see some people on here. Judy, who works with me at Music Management, is saying it's a great interview.
Great interview. Hi, Judy. Thanks for tuning in.
Judy actually owns Music Management, so that's my agency, and so she's checking out. Hi, Judy. She's great. It's like everybody's really tough. Judy's owned that business for 35 years in Boston, and she's been booking music all over the place, all over New England, all over like across America. Like, the agency has been around for a very long time, and they are, they're dealing with cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. And so is every hotel, and so is every event planner. And so it's like, and the list goes on and on. So like, if the events aren't happening, then the bartenders aren't working, the waiters aren't working, security isn't working. Like, it really, the valet's not working. You see how long it can go.
Everybody. It affects so many people. Yeah. Hi, Jocelyn. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We've got Kim. So Kim, I know from back in my XYTV days.
Oh wow.
John Garabedian. Hey Kim, I know. Look at me back on TV, right? I said never again. I got into XYTV because I was casting, and then I ended up hosting a show there, and now I'm full circle, I guess.
I'm surprised we haven't talked about the most epic moment of my life. Why haven't we even talked about that?
What is it?
So I'm going out. Laney's like, hey, you want to come to the People's Choice Show? Would you like to come to the People's Choice Show? I'll get you good seats. You come to the show. I'm like, all right, cool. We see each other randomly here and there over the last 20 years. Went to college together, so we see each other out and about. It happens, doesn't happen. Couple years. Oh, we're gonna pop. And you're like, hey, so come out to the People's Choice. I'll get you a good seat. Maybe gets a front row seat next to Taylor Swift. Still, nobody I know, like in my personal life, believes that happened. They think that I put my face on some dude.
What?
Yes, most people do not believe that I was Taylor Swift's date for the People's Choice.
Definitely, yes, her date specifically.
Well, not her date, but they're like, you were not at the People's Choice. You were not sitting there. And it's like, Lainey set it all up. Lainey was the hookup on that.
Well, absolutely. And I had, and I came out to get you, so you didn't really have to wait in all the line and everything. And I know where people are sitting. So I also do audience casting and coordination. For those of you that don't know, who knows what's going to happen with that business, I guess.
People, see, that's the thing. When you can't bring people together, how many businesses are affected?
Right.
You can't put groups of people. And it's kind of like, not to get into it too much, but like, well, there's a group of people at Home Depots and Lowe's and all those places right now, which is people got to do stuff. I totally get it. But like, they're all together, right? So it's like, we got to get back. We got to get back to normal. That's where I'm at.
Judy says, I thought she was your date. Well, what happens in award shows is that you need to make sure that, the first few rows of the audience that are being, seen and on camera the entire time are, we'll call them A's. And Rich came dressed to the tens. He was absolutely an A. Fit her date properly, I guess you could say. Because what would happen is, like, a lot of times they don't want to bring a date. Maybe there's dating somebody that they're not allowed to, be seeing, or whatever the complications are when it comes to celebrity. So that's what seat fillers do, and they sit next to certain people. But you can't just sit anybody next to anybody. You need to make sure they're not some crazy fanboy fanatic like Rich, Right.
Although I did have a mild heart attack.
I know you did.
I literally thought I was going to die. Like, that was if you told me, I would have had some stuff ready in my head to say. I would have been ready to go. But I show up, and this is what I see. I see a goddess walk through. Like, she's just sitting there.
Oh, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. It's kind of a little blurry. But she's like in this white, angelic, like ridiculously looking dress, and then she comes out, and I'm like, whoa, like, and then I'm like, going crazy. But I wish you would have told me that was going down. But you know what? It was a great surprise. I pulled it around. We had a nice little conversation. She was super sweet, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. So thank you.
I'm sure she loved sitting next to you. Of all the people that they get stuck to and sitting with, and all that. I might have an actual, I know this is going to be weird for a second, but I think I have that photo, a big photo of you. Let's see.
I love this photo. Well, there's one picture that makes me look like a creeper, but they were making a joke about her. And I kind of just looked at her, like, laughing, like, with the joke. Like, it was like a total normal thing to do, but they're like, oh, he's creepy, smiling at her weird. I think that's the photo.
Well, you have to be you have to be on, the camera's on, or you need to be interacting with the person next to you. You are
If you look at everybody in that shot, they're all looking at her.
right. Let me see if this is it. I'm gonna load it. Let's see which one it is. I should have had this loaded up before, actually.
Right. That's all right. I'll stall for time. I'll sing a little song.
Yeah, sing us a little tune.
Holding hands at midnight, 'neath the starry sky. It's nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. Strolling with the one girl, sighing sigh after sigh. It's nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. I can keep going. Just
No, that's okay. I think this is it. I can't tell because it's so small, but let's see if this is the one. Let's see.
That's something a guy never wants to hear.
It might be. Let's see it.
Nah, I don't think that's it.
No.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
Oh, jeez.
It's all right, Lainey. If you just Google Rich DiMare, Taylor Swift, there'll be a billion things that come up.
It was in the Boston Globe, right? Somebody did a write-up about it in the Boston Globe, and
yeah. It was pretty cool because it was right when she broke up with Harry Styles.
she was a big deal then in the news, right?
Yeah, that was a big story. So everyone was like, "Oh, so you're dating Taylor Swift now?"
Yeah.
What's going on?
And that's when you were working on. So let's bring it back for a second. So you came from, well, grew up in Medford, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Were you really into music growing up? I know you were into sports, baseball, things like that, but I don't really know.
Good memory. Good memory, Lainey. So music, not so much. The first thing I really started to do musically was DJ. We'd go to the record store on what was it, Mass Ave? I forget what the name
was. Records on Mass Ave.
Yeah, so we would go there and we'd listen to records, and and then I would DJ at Roxy, which is now Royale in Boston, which who knows what's gonna happen with that place. But they would we'd DJ there, and so that was my first introduction to DJing and music, really. And I didn't start singing until I was about 23. And they had the piano bar downstairs at Encore, and so I would kind of ease into that way. Probably should have started sooner, but I always loved Frank Sinatra music.
So one of my memories, and Rich and I know each other because I worked at the Roxy with Rich. He had hired me, and so on Saturdays during the day we would set up the nightclub for the night. We'd blow up all the balloons and put the reserved on all the tables and stuff, and
all that stuff.
Yeah, all the guest lists and everything. And we would turn on the speakers as loud as they could go. We'd go into the DJ booth and blast like Michael Jackson and just dance and sing and like no one was watching. Literally nobody was. We had an entire nightclub to ourselves. And
it was awesome. And the Roxy is one of the most gorgeous clubs in all of New England. I mean, it is like a total amazing ballroom that they have there. It's a gem of the city, really. But you wouldn't, where it is, and you wouldn't expect it. But it's a great place to see live music. It's a great place to go to a nightclub if those ever exist again. Do you know what I mean? But we would have like the time of our lives. We'd play vinyls, because DJs back then would work off of vinyl, and that's what we did. So we would play those records in the booth, and it would be an amazing time.
Oh, and the pizza down there, that's not even there anymore, I don't think. But
Dominic's is gone.
Yeah. God, the food in the theater district was so good, and good times. And I think that kind of had a lot to do with my career as well. I think that's when Road Rules and Real World came in to do, some sort of event, appearance, party, or something like that. That's how I got hooked up with MTV. Was
so cool.
Roxy on a Saturday. Which is how you got to come to the People's Choice Awards and sit next to Taylor Swift. So it all goes back to you.
Well, the Roxy was a cool spot. I mean, they had that place has some history. They had the White Heat Swing Orchestra back in the 80s, which was the coolest thing. They'd have this big band on the stage, then they'd flip it over to DJ. So that was the 80s. It was a popular place. The 90s, it was a popular place. They shot movies there. Into the 2000s, and then they reinvented and became Royale. So that's a legendary spot in Boston. And, it's a staple. And the owner of that place, Lou Del Pidio, has employed so many people. And I'm sure he's going through a very hard time right now. His bartenders aren't working. His security's not working. All the people in the office there aren't working. And they're going to be the last ones that come out of it. And if they come out of it. So, I feel for them. And that's it connects us. It was a magical time in our lives. And so it's kind of sad to see that they may be one of the ones that don't make it.
Mm-hmm. No, you think?
The nightclubs will be the last thing to come back.
Right.
You think about nightclubs. You think about nightclubs. What are nightclubs? And concerts to a bigger extent. You got to bring massive amounts of people together. That model's not going to be there for a while.
True. Very true.
And how long can they not be there? The business side of it, at some point, the money runs out. So not to get too COVID negative on it. Oh, hi, Christy. That was awesome. That was so much fun.
Mari made my father's 70th birthday the most memorable day for him. He's the best. Oh, that's so sweet.
Him and his wife were dancing on the front lawn. That was so cool. And that's what I'm getting out of these. I'm getting so many like magical moments. The birthday girl in the window was so cool, and that started the whole thing. And then you have a 70th birthday, or parents that are celebrating their 35th anniversary, and they were supposed to go to Bermuda, and now they can't. They were going to go on a cruise, and now they're not doing it. So, there are all these things that are coming out of it, and it's like, well, we didn't get this, but we got this really special moment that brought everybody together, brought close families together. People in our neighborhood can stay at a distance and listen to it. It really is. There's something nice coming out of this tour that we're doing.
When you did your neighborhood show, how did you notify the neighbors, or did you just come out and start playing and just see what happened?
Well, all the neighbors got an email, and there was an email list that went out, and nobody objected to it. And I think with these things that we're doing, there is a respect for social distancing. I totally understand that that's where people are now, whether you agree with it or not. But I understand there are people that feel that rightly so need to be protected. Right. There's a certain segment of the population where this is really, devastating. And I think that other people are getting comfortable with the information as it comes out. So we want to, when we're doing these shows, we totally understand that there's an element of social distancing that needs to be respected and understood. So, it's towing that line, but at the same time, the overwhelming message that I'm getting from people is they want to get back to normal, and not a new normal. They want to get back to normal. So
they want the semblance of normalcy. Like semblance is like your idea of what normal was compared to what it is now. It's like, I don't want semblance. I just want to go literally back to normal.
They want to get back into a rhythm. And if it takes a little time to get there, that's cool. But I think most people, and even the older folks, they're like, yeah, like I want to enjoy these last years of my life. Like I want to enjoy it. I don't want to just stay in my house all day, So it's on all ages. And I'm hearing that from a lot of people. And I think what's nice about these is it's a way to bridge that. It's a way to, okay, I remember live music. I remember doing these things. This is like a step in that direction, and I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. Is this the photo, the one you were talking about that I shared earlier?
Yeah, that one. I love that. I love that. And so that was the day. So that was May 14th. I remember that day because that's the day Frank Sinatra passed away in 1998. And so I just felt like this magical energy that day. Not to get all spiritual or whatever, but it really felt the sun was coming in. The acoustics were just perfect. The energy all around me was amazing. And it was something special.
It looks special, and I can imagine with the sound of your voice bouncing off of the brownstone and the cobblestone and the streets like that.
Well, up to the left-hand corner, you can't see it in this, but the video that I posted, there's a guy up on the third floor balcony, just or like from his window on looking, and there's a person that's 10 feet to my left with a mask on, watching, and there's people behind me that are watching. So it was like really cool. It was like one of those big amphitheaters or something in the round type of thing going on. It was something nice. It was special. It was a special moment that I know the birthday girl absolutely loved. She was singing all the words, and that's what I feel like I'm at like a rock concert when I do these things, because they're lip syncing all the words, which is not, a lot of the gigs I do, I'm at, with younger people, they may not know the words, but these older folks, they know all the words.
Well, and I think that that's something that you're kind of running into too, is that you're dealing with, people who grew up with Frank Sinatra. So at this point, they might be, a little bit older and more susceptible to getting sick. So they, out of all of the population, probably don't want to be out. So for you to be able to bring that joy to them, it's
a nice way to approach the live music aspect for them. It's like, okay, like we can still do it though. Like we can still do it and make it more memorable. Like this is going to be, they'll never forget it. So it's a way to kind of still do what you used to do when you go out to a restaurant, listen to live music, but this is more intimate. This is more special. This is more unique. So it is nice to be able to give that to people, and it uniquely works for the age group that the songs that I sing. It works for that age group. But I'll say this, I was at a birthday party yesterday, and there was a little girl there, and I sang New York, New York, Fly Me to the Moon, The Way You Look Tonight, and she knew all the words, and she was right. So it's like these songs, they just stay around. Like they're very popular for a long time. People know New York, New York. They know Fly Me to the Moon. They know Come Fly With Me, The Way You Look Tonight, My Way, You Make Me Feel So Young, Summer Wind. Like those songs, people know them. And that's why my Sunday night shows at Capo are so successful. I mean, we have people celebrating their 21st birthday and their 81st birthday there. It's true though. It's a supper club. It's a throwback to a different time. And we were doing, before we went into COVID, before we went to quarantine, and this is unheard of, we were doing 2 shows a night. We were having week after week where we were doing 2 shows a night, flipping the room. So we were really coming into a great spot for that.
It's like a real throwback to the dinner shows. I mean, they were doing the show, flipping the room, bringing in another one. That's incredible. I didn't know that. We hit our stride. I mean, we were coming into our busiest months are, I would say, except for July and maybe August, we have really busy months. And then we come into Monday holidays. So you have like Columbus Day or Memorial Day, or then you have Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day weekend. We were coming into a stretch of time where we were going to be slammed. We could have done 3 shows a night. Mm-hmm. So, and it's now like, we don't even know when we're going to open again. And those places are so small and compact too, that it's not like some of the restaurants that are starting to open here. You can have, it's like a 50 or even 30% capacity because the tables are 6 feet apart. And there's a lot of outdoor seating here in California, which is, we have it there, but it's not really your basic bar type restaurant place you do that with. But so we're starting to open up here a little bit more just because we have the ability to do that. But these types of places you're talking about, which are actually my favorite type of places to go to, like the speakeasies, it's dark, low ceilings, somebody like Rich, singing like a Rat Pack, like that's totally my jam. And those are probably even kind of the last places because they're so small. And
right. I mean, Capo's a unique spot because I think their cap down there is like 140 people for reservations with tables spread out. So, when we come back, if we put 80 in there, a reduced capacity, I think that is a nice compromise, and it takes nothing away from the show. As a matter of fact, the 80 people type of shows, when you get 80 to 90 people, that's a nice crowd because it's even more intimate. It's not as crazy. The noise is down. They're listening to the show. There's more engagement. So I think we'll be all right in that sense if we come back and reduce our capacity from, 140, 150 reservations. But again, like, we need guidance, and I think people are afraid to give guidance, or maybe they don't even want to. And a lot of restaurants, I know a lot of restaurants around here have already said they're not coming back. So I feel for the restaurant industry big time, because I know how hard it is to make it, and it takes years and years, and you have a couple bad months and it's over.
I was going to say, and to have the whole rug ripped out from underneath you in 2 months, 3 months, it's over.
Yeah. It's craziness. It's craziness. So, that's where it's at. But I think, leave on a positive note.
Then there are people like you and I who find another way, find something else.
What was that thing you were showing me before you came on? And it piqued my interest, and we haven't even talked about it.
Yeah. Well, and I actually also have to mention this coming Saturday, it's probably going to be from like 1 to 3. I'm doing an interview with Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah.
Good for you. How'd you land that one?
So a friend of mine is a PhD, is a professor here in San Diego. And I love history, so I like to have him on, and he and I will just have conversations like over the phone or whatever. I met him at a bar one night. We were supposed to be like, I don't know, it was after this crazy night, and I met him, and we were just basically waiting for the Uber to come, but there was like 2 hours for the Uber, and he and I just like sat there and we talked about all kinds of history coming from Boston and the history of San Diego and like how there's no history here, but there is, like on this whole conversation, like. This was like the biggest, so Kaboo was like a big concert out here. And so he and I started getting this conversation, and I'm like, the last thing I wanted to do was even be in a bar, never mind like start talking to somebody. And we were like the last 2 people sitting in the bar, like talking about history, like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
So I brought him on the show, and we did a thing about Civil War, because I like also to do like a similarity between now and then, and like how things are the same and different. So like, even like the Spanish flu of 1918. There is no satellite that comes down and pings you and all of a sudden everybody's cured. You know what they did? They all went home. Schools were closed. Churches were closed. Groceries were closed. They closed everything. This isn't the first time that this has happened to people. This is not the first time.
Well, we can get into like history with stuff, and like we can go down a whole rabbit hole about stuff like that.
No, whole rabbit hole. Anyway,
like with history, that there's a rabbit hole that I don't even want to get into. I watched Joe Rogan's podcast. I know there's crazy stuff out there that we're just not even paying attention to, but that's a whole nother story. I get what you're saying with history.
But so, and it's just interesting anyway, and I think that a lot of people ignore it completely. And there are so many things that we learn from history, and we're like, oh, that was history. It's like, no, that's actually what we need to be paying attention to and listening to, a lot of history. So I get so after the history thing, and then Dreyfuss saw my show, who I'm connected with anyway, and he's really into the Civil War. So he's like, oh, I want to do a show with LAYNE and David Miller, Professor David Miller, and do a show about Civil War. Richard's written a play that has sort of an alternative ending to the Civil War. It obviously ends the same, but there's a little something extra to it. And then I got an email from this guy. His name's Johnny Russo, and he was one of the writers on SNL. Had actually seen the show, and he was like, "Hey, I wrote this book with Tom Dreesen and Darren Grubb and myself." And he's like, "Would you be okay with having him on the show?" So it's called Still Standing, and it's my journey from stage and saloon. No, my journey from the streets and saloons to the stage and Sinatra. So he opened for Frank Sinatra for the last 14 years of his life.
Wow.
And that's what, like, the forward.
I gotta meet this guy.
I know. I was kind of thinking like maybe we could have you on the show. Like maybe we could do like the whole forward is actually written by David Letterman, his best friend. So I'm like, reading this, I'm like, this is just incredible. Gary Sinise also wrote, and I'm really excited about this. I've started reading it already, and so we're gonna have him on. This book comes out, I think it's June 6th, So we're going to talk about that.
So that's a book.
It's a book. Yeah, still standing.
Wow. Book. I thought it was going to be like a screenplay or something. I want to read that.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you what I have. I mean, it's just like the press release and some excerpt of the book, but I'll send it to you. That would be, and I'd love to have you maybe with him since you're a Sinatra connoisseur. I think that could be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love Sinatra and I love singing that music. So.
Well, we've just hit 5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. What are you talking about?
We've just hit 8 o'clock. We've just hit 7 o'clock in the Green Mountain time.
I don't know what it is, but it was great and it was fantastic. And I can't wait to see you back in Boston. Hopefully we'll be able to hug and say hi to each other.
I know.
I miss hugging. Handshakes.
Please me.
I don't know. So people come up to me.
I could see you and not hug you. I don't think I could see you and not just hug you.
So after the shows that I'm doing, people are very happy and like, oh my God, this was so good, blah, blah, blah. And they want to I can feel they want to come shake hands or like hug. And I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how we'll just do this or, so
check it out.
Big hug when I see you.
Oh, for sure. I'm coming in. I don't give a shit.
Thank you, Lainey.
You're welcome. I love you so much. Thank you for being on the show. And I'll put up all your information and stuff so people know where to reach you and how to contact you. We have a ton of people who are fans in Massachusetts and New Hampshire and kind of out that way. So I'll definitely put contact information out there.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking to try to do the tour out west. I'm trying to set up. I'm not joking. I have conversations with a few different sponsors right now. I'm trying to do a tour where I can go across the country and go to people's, backyards, windows, you name it, I'll be there. So maybe San Diego pretty soon.
If you play in a tree fort, can I come? I would love to go.
I love it.
Okay, Rich, thank you.
I don't know how to turn this thing off, so you're gonna have to do it.
I got you. You hang tight. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.